Hi my little brushflies, welcome back to my channel, Brushfly MUA. If you're new here, my name is Mercedes. I'm the face behind Brushfly MUA. If you are new, remember to hit that subscribe button. If you're not, welcome back and welcome to a new year. I just did a video, I'm not sure whether I'll post it or not. It was kind of like a life update. But you know when you're not happy with a video, so I don't know whether I will keep it or whether I'll just chop it apart and try and make something out of it. But quick story short, I'm changing jobs. I'm no longer going to be working for Too Faced. Had a bit of stress and I didn't complete Vlogmas, so I'm going to do sort of like videos you expect in Vlogmas sort of now, like an end of year wrap up, but maybe a new year beginning kind of thing. So what I'm going to do today is my 2022 makeup favourites, and I have a few, so let's dive straight into it. So I have this box of goodies here with some of my makeup favourites from 2022. Some of them, if you watch my channel, you will probably not be surprised that I have them in my favourites because I use them a lot. Some of them I no longer have, or you know that they've run out, they're empty, I've used them up. If I remember, I will comment about them or put them on the screen if I have a picture of them. So the first product is this one. So this is the number 7 Hydroluminous Moisturising Foundation. So this is an all-day hydration medium coverage foundation with SPF 15. I have the shade Porcelain. This is my all-time favourite foundation. Because I'm on YouTube, I like to test out other products, I like to test out other brands, I like to test out foundations. I always find myself going back to this one. So I hope number 7 never ever get rid of this one because I love it so much. I have really dry skin, so this just sits on my skin quite nicely. I mean, with any foundation for me, by the end of the day, it always breaks up a little bit because my skin is so dry. It literally takes any moisture out of any products I put on my face and absorbs them. So by the end of the day, it has done that and it looks a bit sort of patchy and a bit peely. But I get that with any foundation, but I find this one lasts the longest and it is the most hydrating for my skin. So I absolutely love this foundation and I really struggle to like anything else over the top of this, so all-time favourite has to be this one. And sticking with number 7, I have their number 7 Instant Radiance Under Eye Concealer in the shade 0.25. Because I have really dry skin, I don't always go for like a really heavy coverage concealer. This one has like the brush tip, which works really well for like my under eyes. It does brighten them. Maybe not as much as I want or need. If you can hear a squeak, someone's in the bathroom behind my wall. But it does give me a bit of coverage. It does brighten my eyes to a certain point. But what I like about it is it doesn't settle into my under eye crease lines too much compared to like if I was to use a heavy coverage concealer. I have seen on Revolution they have some eye brightening products that I really want to try, so that could be a new year thing. So yeah, that's my favourite concealer. Now, another concealer I really like and I have liked for a couple of years now is my Maybelline Fit Me concealer. So that one I really like to use to brighten my under eye. This one I use to like spot conceal, or if my foundation's not giving me the coverage I really want, I will go over with this because it adds a bit more coverage. I also really liked that one because last year I used the Becca Virtual Pigment Free foundation. That one was absolutely beautiful, and because it had no pigment to it, I would quite often lean to this one to just add a bit of pigment to where I needed it. So this is a really good concealer, and actually like the number 7 is my tippy top favourite foundation, but the Becca Zero Pigment Virtual Foundation, oh my god, you can't buy it anymore, which is so rude, but I love that foundation and I think if you could still buy it, that would probably be my tippy top favourite foundation. Because you can no longer buy it, there's no point in making that my tippy top because I can't get it. But number 7 I do really like and enjoy, but I do really miss Becca as a brand. I have the Too Faced Hangover Proactive Nourishing Replenishing Face Primer. So this has coconut water, probiotic based ingredients and skin revivers in it. I have like really unruly skin. I'm very hormonal. It likes to break out a lot. I find when I use this, it calms my skin down a lot. And I've mentioned that before in another video. And I no longer work for Too Faced, so I no longer have to feel like I need to be biased in my opinion. I love them as a brand. I think they do some amazing, amazing products, and this is one of them. So I do really like this. Now, the only thing is I will say is sometimes I do feel like I need an added primer on top if my skin is acting up like really dry. But what I like about this one is I can put like serums and stuff on and then a moisturiser, and then I might even put this one on as an added moisturiser, and then I might put another primer over the top just to try and definitely lock my makeup into place. So this one for me is good as a primer but also good as an added moisturiser, so I do really like this one. It is quite on the dear side. Too Faced is not a cheap brand. They are definitely more on the high-end side, but they do good products, so I do like that one. Mascara. Okay, so I have a couple of favourites, and the first one I'm going to go with is the Kiko Milano Maxi Mod Volume and Definition Mascara. I love this. Where has it been all my life? So it has a really short like rubber wand, which I never thought I would like. I normally like the bigger bristled wands. I feel they grip my lashes a bit more, they apply product a bit more evenly. But no, this one is amazing. It's tiny, the wand, so you can get right into the little nooks and crannies where you need to get to. It has a really good pigmentation to it. But I also find if I want a more natural lash day, I just apply a little bit, I can walk out the door, go, lashes done. If I want to build them up into something more false lash effect, this will build and build and build till my lashes look enormous and I love them. This, like, I really enjoyed the Bare Minerals Lashtopia, I think last year or like 2021. That was like my favourite mascara of the year, maybe even to 2022. I remember mentioning it. That was amazing, I loved it. This I think has overtaken that and it has kicked them off the top spot. Too Faced the Better Than Sex mascara was definitely up there as well, but this has kicked all other mascaras off the top spot. I love this one so much. When I run out, I'm definitely going to be looking on Sephora to see if I can get another one because it's really good. And Kiko Milano are not an expensive brand either. Like for me, I feel they're quite drugstore. I did find it in TK Maxx, so it was cheaper than normal. But I've looked on Sephora and it's quite a cheaper brand anyway, so very affordable. I adore this, I love it. And then we have my Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. The packaging on this is so bougie, it's very weighted. This is the Hourglass Figure wand, which I do really like. It does give you a really good lash look, and for a few months now it has been like my favourite mascara. The only thing I find with this one is I can't really do my bottom lashes with it because the brush is so big, but I can always grab like another mascara and do that, that's no problem. I like the look it gives my upper lashes. It gives them a really full fluffy look. I really enjoy that. And I do also want to add, like, I've had the smaller travel size one before, and I remember when I had that one, it flaked a lot. And I remember doing like my mascara best of video last year, and I said that it would have been my tippy top fave if it didn't flake a lot. But I find with the full sized, I don't get that much flaking. I don't know whether they've slightly changed the formula so it's a bit better. I'm not aware of it, even though I used to work for them. Or whether, you know, the smaller ones maybe they oxidise a bit quicker because they are smaller and the air can get into the tube a bit easier because it's a shorter tube. I don't know. But for me, I do really like this one. I think the Kiko Milano is my tippy top, and then this one is like a second place. It is really nice. I do enjoy it, but it can't beat Kiko. So I have a liquid eyeshadow. This is the one from xxx Revolution. I found these in a sale last year and they are just really, really good. So with these, you can apply them to your eyelid and then you can blend them out with a brush and they still hold the pigmentation. They don't crease, they don't flake, they don't smudge, they don't move. Once they're on, but you can blend them out and you can apply stuff over the top. You can use it as a nice base, or you can put like a base underneath and then apply these over the top. They're fantastic. This is the shade Frill, so it's got like a duochrome effect to it, but it sort of shines a bit like orangey green to like a purple. It's stunning. I really liked to pair this up with the Urban Decay Naked Cyber palette because it kind of had that like duochrome effect to them both. So yeah, I really like this, which is really strange because xxx Revolution is my least favourite sister brand from Revolution. But this I really like. Then I have this little eyeshadow duo from Kiko Milano. Ugh, just put my finger in it, that was clever. So with Kiko, I know I've only tested them out fairly recently, and the fact that I've put them in like my yearly favourites to me means something. So I have been using this on days where I'm rushing out the door and I need to be quick and I just want like a hint of pink to match up with my blush and like a little hint of sparkle just to sort of brighten my eye a little bit. This is perfection. It's really, really nice. But I also like as well getting my blush brush and sweeping it over and applying it, and it kind of gives like a nice shimmery blush effect. It's just so nice, and I definitely want to try more Kiko Milano out this year because I have been really impressed with the products I've tried. The only downside is my skin did not agree with their foundation, even though it looked beautiful on my skin, which is such a bummer, but I really like this. Then I have a highlighter. This is from Fenty. So it has two inside. There's a purple and a pink. And they're just like really unusual shades for a highlighter. And I do say like I definitely gravitate towards the pink a lot more. It's much more me. But I do also like the purple, but I use that more as like an eyeshadow. The liquid eyeshadow from xxx Revolution just now, I have paired those up before. Put this one on my eye first, then I've gone in with the liquid one, and it looks beautiful. The pink shade, like I said, I definitely use more as the highlighter. I do kind of wish like the whole thing was just that pink because it's beautiful. I absolutely adore it. It's so beautiful. Fenty does really good highlighters, and the packaging as well, it just feels really nice, and it doesn't feel cheap or anything. It just feels bougie. I feel posh pulling this out my handbag to like reapply highlight, so I do really like that one. Sticking with Fenty, I also have a lipstick, which is quite an unusual shade I think for someone to put in their favourites, but it is a purple and it is called One of the Boys, and it is this shade here. So it is a purple. It's definitely like a mauvey undertone, but what I like to do is pair it up with my favourite lip liner. Then I apply this over the top. It does slightly change the tone a little bit, gives it more of like a pinkier purple. But I have worn this on its own as well, and I just really enjoy the formula. I like the packaging. It's really nice and cute. But it's just a really nice lipstick, which is completely different and out there, but it's stunning. I absolutely love it. I have to be in the mood to wear it, but when I do, I have such a good makeup day. I love this. My lip liner that I absolutely loved last year was this one from Lord & Berry in the shade Vintage Rose. This is the one that I paired up a lot with the Fenty Beauty lipstick. It's stunning. It just has like a really nice rosy undertone to it, but it's not like a pale rose. It's a very sort of deep rustic rose. I really like this. This was like a thing I got from Birchbox years ago. I probably shouldn't even be using it now, although it does say 36 months, so I can probably still get away with it. I probably should try and use this up this year though, because it's not going to last for much longer. But I do really like this. It's my favourite lip liner, and I have to be honest, I'm not the biggest lip liner fan. So for me to really enjoy this one means something. So I have a perfume favourite. I got this for Christmas from my lovely husband. It is Chance by Chanel. I think this is like the £69 one or the £79 one, but I know I got it on like a deal when I worked at my counter because this Chanel counter was near it. This is just such a beautiful but elegant smell. Like the Chanel No. 5 and stuff is nice, or the Cocoa one, but I find them to be a bit more old lady smell, whereas this one I find is a bit more younger, it's a bit more fresh. It's just really nice. I enjoy this one. So my favourite bronzer from last year, I'm pretty sure it's going to change this year. I tried out a new one today, the Too Faced chocolate bronzer, and I really like that. But God, it's raining outside and it's really, really heavy. This one from I Heart Revolution, it's the coffee bronzer in the shade Latte. My packaging is broken, but the bronzer in here is beautiful. So it does look quite dark in the pan, especially for my sort of skin tone. But when you apply this, it blends out so nicely. It's not muddy, it's not heavy. It's just a really nice bronzer. I do really, really like this. And I only got it because I read the reviews and everyone said on there how much they liked it. So I was like, do you know what? I'm going to get it and try it. That brain. The packaging is really cute. Like it's meant to look like if you were looking into a coffee cup, that would be like the design the barista would make if they have those skills. Yeah, I do really like this. It's a shame the packaging broke, but you know, I Heart Revolution is like one of the cheaper sister brands from Revolution, so the packaging is not as bougie as other brands, but the quality is there. I think I Heart Revolution is my favourite Revolution brand. Okay, a couple of lipstick favourites I have. I have this one from 17, which my nan gave to me. It's in berry red, so it's a very berry tone, probably a bit similar to the shade I'm wearing today, although the one I'm wearing today is a Too Faced one, and in my honest opinion, I'm not a fan of the formula. But this one is a similar sort of shade, so I will wear this type of vampy berry shade, but I much prefer sort of like this formula. It's a really nice formula. It does have like a scent to it as well, but I can't really remember. It's sort of like a fruity but not. Yeah, I can't remember. But I have used this one quite a lot. As you can see, it's sort of like rounded off where I've been using it a lot. So yeah, I really like this lipstick this year, and my nan gave it to me. She sort of bought it for herself, but it wasn't a shade she liked, so I adopted it. So it kind of means a bit more anyway because my nan gave it to me. Two products from Too Faced. So they are both from their lip injection line. So this is their lip injection extreme lip plumper, and then I have their lip injection liquid lipstick. So the lip injection extreme, that is just your average, like, well, not average, it's blooming amazing, but it's a lip plumper. So you put it on before anything else, it plumps up your lips, and then you can apply lipstick over the top and have like a really nice plumped lip look. It also means that like you don't need to go and get lip fillers because this kind of does it for you without the needles. Now they do have like three like categories. They have like their original, then the extreme, and then the maximum. So this one's sort of like in the middle, and I find it to be very tingly. It does feel like little needles on your lips. So for me, I know it definitely works. But for some other people, if they have a really high pain threshold, it doesn't affect them. I tried this on my mum, and I tried the maximum plump on my mum. It did not affect her at all. She didn't feel a thing, which I find absolutely crazy. But I really like this, and they do other flavours as well, which are really nice. Then I have their liquid lipstick. So this one, again, is really, really good. It has the liquid, like, lip injection plumpness to it, and you get that same sort of tingle, but then it's like a demi matte, so it dries down a lot more matte than a normal lipstick, and it stays in place a lot longer. I do really like this. I do see the plumping effect from this as well. If I use the two, then I get like double whammy, really plumped lips. I do like this. I've only got the one shade though. I wish while I was there I'd picked up a few more, because it is a really nice liquid lipstick. Fantastic. Then I have a highlighter. This is from Makeup Gallery. So I tried this brand earlier on in the year. I found it in the pound shop. Everything was £1. This highlight was one of my favourites. It's a very icy toned highlight, but the formula is beautiful. It's kind of like a bit like a putty kind of feel to it, but it's creamy as well. This I wore a lot last year. I do really like it still. So yeah, really liked that one. For highlight I really enjoyed was from Becca, which is no longer with us, as you know from my little rant earlier about their foundation. So this is their Pearl Glow Luster Glow Powder in Pure Pearl. How many times can you mention that word? This looks like I haven't used it a lot, but I have been using this constantly for at least 3 months. But because it is such a highly pressed powder, like not a lot comes off like when you use it, but like it's enough on the brush that it does give you the glow that you want. I just find this to be like a really nice natural glow. It pairs up really nicely with a nice pink blush. What I like about the Becca products though is it takes you an age to go through them. I have a palette from the Chloe and Malika collection that they did years ago. That one took me ages to get through. The formula of it is that it just, you don't need a lot, but it shows up, but it doesn't wear down very quickly. And it took me a long time to use that one up. So I know it's going to take me a long time to use this one, but it's a favourite and I absolutely love this. And the packaging's really pretty. Kind of reminds me of like Sailor Moon, you know, like the little badge or brooch bit that she had with the ribbon round, and then she would transform with it. That's what that reminds me of. And oh, I did have another primer that I liked. So this is the Maybelline Baby Skin Primer. This one is quite a silicone-y primer, but I found that it really gripped foundation to my skin really well. The only thing I didn't like about it was the smell. It kind of had like a strange smell to it, kind of eggy but not eggy. It's really strange. Even my daughter, who has the same one, said to me, yeah, I can smell that, it's weird. But the actual primer itself works really well, does cover up pores, or at least, you know, makes them a bit less noticeable. So yeah, I do really like that one. Eyeshadows, I have quite a few. So the first one is from Makeup Gallery, the pound shop one that I tried. This is a little quad, and it's just a very neutral toned or natural toned eyeshadow palette. I have used this quite a few times, and it's funny because if you'd asked me in 2021 what type of eyeshadow I liked, I would have been like vibrant rainbow colours, like really in your face purples, pinks, blah blah blah. 2022, especially like the last 6 months, I turned into liking more neutral, natural tones. So quite a few of my eyeshadow palettes this year are more on the natural neutral side. So this one I did really like. The formula is beautiful. It's quite hard like press, so it's not one that you can go through very quickly, but the pigmentation is there and it creates such a nice eye look. I love this. And I remember when I got it, I said if I had to get rid of all my eyeshadow palettes with this sort of colour story in and just keep this one, I would be more than happy. What I have is Revolution and Shrek the Donkey palette. Now, I do have to admit, like, the palette as a whole looks really nice. It reminds me a little bit of the palette I just showed you with the tones. But the main reason I love this palette is because of this one single shade. And it is called Lady Dragon. So I hope you'll be able to see, because it's a very unusual, like, tone. And it just has, like, a really nice glow about it. It's not, like, swatched overly well on my hand, but there's just something about it that when it's on the eye, it looks amazing. Like, I really have enjoyed using that. When you use a brush and it sort of breaks up the pigment a bit more and becomes a bit more powdery and you apply it, it's so much better than the swatch. It's beautiful. Like, the other shades in the pans are really nice. Like, don't get me wrong, you can create a nice eye look with it, but I quite often just go and grab this shade, put it all over the eye, a bit of black eyeliner or brown eyeliner, mascara, done. It's like a one and done eyeshadow shade. It's really, really nice. Would I have put this in my favourites if that shade wasn't in there? No, I don't think so. So I kind of wish it was like an eyeshadow single, but would I have bought it if it was a single? Probably not, but it is such a stunning shade. I absolutely adore it. So yeah, I had to mention that in my favourites because I have been using it a lot. So this one I actually tried back in 2021 and I really, really liked it. I brought it back out again this year in the autumn months, and once again I absolutely loved it. So it's the I Heart Revolution Pumpkin Pie palette. Now this one, every autumn I go absolutely bananas for, and I've hit pan in quite a few of the shades. I just find it to be a really nice autumnal time palette. It has the shades in it that I love, but I think what pulls me towards it more is the fact it's called Pumpkin Pie. If it was just called Autumn, I possibly maybe would not like it as much as I do. The fact that it's got pumpkin in the name, and I love pumpkins, I use this a lot. The formula of this palette is stunning. I do think I Heart Revolution do some really good eyeshadow formulas. For the most part, I love most of their eyeshadow palettes that I own, and I do have quite a few. So yeah, I really enjoy this one. Keeping with I Heart Revolution, I have their Ruby Cocoa Crumble, which I think I tried at the very beginning of last year. And this is a more pinky toned palette, which I was saying just now, like, I used to love really vibrant tones. This has got a few vibrant tones in it, but it is still quite neutral. It's still quite subtly pretty. It's not too in your face. So I really gravitated towards this palette for quite a lot of last year, especially through the more springtime months. This shade here, Unique, I absolutely adored, and it really reminded me of a shade that I had in the Kylie Cosmetics Eye of the Storm palette. There was a shade in there that I used to death, and it was similar to that one. So this palette I also really enjoy. I think their chocolate bar palettes from I Heart Revolution are brilliant. I love them. Then I have a Flower Beauty eyeshadow palette. This is Sugar Rush, so it's a very pink toned palette, and I've used this quite a few times, and I actually really want to pull it back out and use it again now that we're in a new year. This shade here, how beautiful does that look? But the pinks in here are absolutely stunning. You can create some really nice looks, and it kind of brings me back to the time when Jeffree Star Cosmetics, like, his brand was quite big and everyone talked about, like, his palettes. The pinky tones in here really remind me of, like, the mini Jawbreaker palette, and I love this. Like, I used to love that palette of his. I don't have it anymore because I don't buy from Jeffree Star anymore, but this really gives me that sort of vibe, and the brush from this palette is brilliant. I remember saying when I reviewed it that if I could buy those brushes separately, I would have bought quite a few of them because it applies eyeshadow really nicely. The only downside is I'm not sure if you can pick up Flower Beauty in the UK anymore. If you can and I've got it wrong, please let me know where you can buy it from, because I really enjoyed Flower Beauty, but they used to be in Superdrug and now they've taken them out of Superdrug. So I'm a bit of a loss on where to buy them. And sticking with Flower Beauty, I want to quickly mention their blush bomb in the shade Bubbly. I've used all mine up. I adored that blush. That was my favourite blush last year. You know, there was quite a few other blushes that I used last year, like the Revolution Super Dewy. I did really enjoy, there was an I Heart Revolution one that went with the Ruby Cocoa palette. I really enjoyed that. But ultimately, the Flower Beauty blush was my all-time favourite. It was a really nice baby pink shade and it just looked stunning. And I could apply so much of that to my face and go completely OTT and it wouldn't matter because it was such a gentle, subtle blush that you could build on. I loved it. So, 2 more to go. I know it's been long. So I have here the Too Faced Born This Way, the Natural Nudes. I was sent this when I joined the company. Obviously, when you work on a makeup counter, the makeup company expect you to wear their products so you can sell them. If someone comes up to you and says, I really like your eyeshadow today, you can go, yep, it was from X palette. So this was the one they sent me to use because obviously it was one of their best sellers on their counter. And I do have to say, I do really enjoy this. And again, it's definitely on that more neutral side of things. It's got more natural tones in there. It's meant to be from like their Born This Way foundation shades. They wanted it so, you know, if you have their foundation, you can sort of like pair the foundation and this together and know that you're wearing all the natural nudes. But I do have to say, like, the mattes in here are so nice. Like, the texture of them is really smooth. They glide on so well. The shimmers as well, like, they are just so beautiful. Whenever I have worn this, I do have a good makeup day. This white one up here is a slightly different texture to the rest of the shimmers in the palette. It's a little more crumbly. It's not as soft as the other ones. Like, it's a little harder but a bit more crumbly, but it does still really create a nice look, and I like to use that one as an inner corner highlight. So this palette was a really good palette and I used it a lot last year. Then we have reached the final product, and I have to say it is my favourite all-time eyeshadow palette, and it is the Urban Decay Naked Cyber. Which is funny because Urban Decay and Too Faced were kind of like frenemies. They were kind of like competing brands with each other. But this is my all-time favourite. I love this palette. I don't think I can ever live without it. So inside you do get a brush. You also get like duochrome shades. You do have like a deeper red shade, and then you have the more neutral tones. I hope you can see how much I have dug into this palette and used it. It is stunning. What I really like about it is like a lot of the shades in here you can use as like one and done shades, like the duochromes and like the shimmers. You can just like apply with a brush onto your eye, eyeliner, mascara, done. Or you can take like the whole palette and create more intricate eye looks. I love this. I also like pairing it with like my liquid eyeshadows, like especially this shade here. This was the one that for ages I would apply that and then go over the top with the xxxx Revolution one to give it a real duochrome effect. I just love this. And this shade here actually reminds me of the shade that's in the Shrek and Revolution Donkey palette. They are very similar in tone. They give a very similar effect. But the one in the Urban Decay one leans a little bit more coral, a little bit more orange, whereas the Shrek one leans a little bit more red with a bluey undertone. But this, yeah, by far is my favourite eyeshadow palette ever. I love it. If I had to get rid of all my eyeshadow palettes and just keep one, I would keep this one because I really like the packaging. I really like the colour of the packaging. I like the whole circuit board look to it. But it's just the colour story inside. I adore this. And I think, like, this shade here I use a lot as like a transition base shade. Looking very closely at it, I think I'm about to hit pan on that one as well. I've hit pan on that duochrome shade there. But yeah, I love this, and I go into like phases where I will use it like every single day, and then I sort of have to say to myself, no, it's a really expensive palette, cut down or you're gonna like completely annihilate it. But I do really enjoy this. Yeah, my favourite palette. I love it. So that is all my favourite products from 2022. I know the Urban Decay eyeshadow palette, you're probably thinking, nah, you tried that out like Christmas 2021. I didn't actually. I bought it with my Christmas money from 2021, but it didn't come until like New Year, and then I did a video on it. So that definitely fell into 2022. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry it's been a long one. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and let me know down below what are some of your favourite products you tried in 2022. Take care. Bye.